From silent hunters beneath the waves to lightning-fast stalkers on dry plains, these are the deadliest snakes on Earth. I have spent a lifetime tracing the subtleties of the natural world, and few chapters of that story tremble with such quiet menace as the tale of venom. Admire from afar, never handle wild snakes. In this film, we will move through coral gutters, forest canopies, along rivers, through arid scrub, meeting 10 species whose biology has been honed by millennia into exquisite instruments of survival. We'll count down from 10 to the single most venomous snake. Each entry is a study in anatomy and evolution, in fear and fascination, and in the fragile balance between humans and these enigmatic reptiles. Stay with me and let us learn to respect them without giving in to needless dread. I begin where water becomes world, with the slender Belcher's sea snake, a creature as elegant as it is lethal. In the blue hush of shallow seas, it undulates with a grace that betrays the potency within its bite. Its venom is predominantly neurotoxic, designed to immobilize fish swiftly. For humans, a bite is rare but can be deadly if left untreated. These snakes favor estuaries' coral fringes. They often cross the threshold between land and sea where fishermen cast their nets. I have watched them slipping like living silver through eelgrass scarcely noticed until the sun catches their scales. Encounters with people are uncommon, yet when they occur, the consequences can be severe due to delayed treatment in remote coastal villages. Conservation of coastal habitats reduces conflict and keeps both snake and human safer. Their role as predators keeps fish populations balanced across fragile reef mosaics. Their physiology speaks of adaptation. Laterally flattened bodies, valved nostrils, a paddle-like tail that propels them with quiet power. They retain the terrestrial need to surface and breathe and occasionally rest on exposed reef flats. This intersection elevates the risk of accidental human contact, particularly for those who wade for shellfish or mend nets at low tide. Medical response in coastal communities is the critical factor. Anti-venoms for sea snake envenomation exist, but access can be limited. I recall a case study of a fisherman who, after a seemingly minor prick, swift evacuation and anti-venom saved him an outcome not guaranteed in every isolated cove. Education and healthcare infrastructure are as vital to survival as any natural defense these snakes possess. Their elegance belies the harsh efficiency of their venom. Behaviorally, Belcher's sea snakes are solitary and curious, gliding close to the surface to investigate disturbances with measured caution. They feed primarily on small eels and on fish, using their potent venom to neutralize prey in the three-dimensional theater of the reef. Breeding is viviparous. Young are born live in the water, newborn juveniles at surface. Predators are few large fish. Some seabirds take advantage of juveniles when they surface. Human pressures, pollution, habitat, degradation, entanglement, pose greater threats than predation. Preserving shallow marine ecosystems conserves both the beauty and the danger, the coexistence that defines our relationship with these oceanic phantoms. Picture the sunlit mosaic of the reef. Imagine this slender snake threading through it. Invisible to most, deadly to some. Rarity of human bites can't diminish the lesson. Evolution favors solutions that work, even in the quiet blue. As we depart the tidal world, we carry an understanding of how specialized biological weapons can be, and how careful handling of our maritime environs reduces tragic encounters. Belcher's sea snake is a reminder that danger can inhabit the most alluring places. Respect distance-informed action. High in the leafy cathedral of African woodlands resides the boomslang, a tree dweller with a composure that belies its hemorrhagic artistry. By day, it may hang languidly among branches, a patch of green blending into the canopy, and by night it moves with astonishing deliberation, in search of birds, in search of lizards. Its venom acts primarily as a hemotoxin, disrupting blood clotting, causing profound internal bleeding over hours. This delayed onset is what makes the boomslang deceptively dangerous. Someone bitten may appear untroubled at first, only to deteriorate as coagulation fails. I have watched their slow, alert head tilt as they monitor passing prey, an expression of patient menace. Human fatalities are rare relative to the threat, thanks in part to awareness and the availability of anti-venom where medical services are reached swiftly. Yet in remote forest edges, lack of access can turn a manageable bite into a catastrophe. Sexual dimorphism paints the boomslang with varied hues. Males often sport brilliant greens, blues, black, while females display more subdued browns, olive tones. These chromatic differences are not mere ornamentation, but tools of stealth and signaling in the dappled light of the treetops. Hunting techniques are exquisite. A patient strike, a retreat, slow work of venom taking effect on unsuspecting birds, a choreography of patience and biological chemistry. The medical challenge lies in the invisible progression of hemorrhage, which can manifest as bleeding from gums, blood, and urine, fatal intracranial bleeding. Prompt anti-venom administration and supportive care save lives, but awareness among rural communities remains essential. Education that teaches how to recognize and respond to potential envenomation can bridge the gap between life and irreversible loss. Ecologically, boomslangs are vital controllers of arboreal prey populations, keeping insectivorous bird numbers, small reptile communities in dynamic balance. Their presence is an indicator of healthy woodland structure. Old trees, connected canopies, a mosaic of undergrowth. Yet human encroachment fragments their habitat and increases face-to-face encounters as people harvest wood or clear land. Misidentification often leads to unnecessary persecution. Many snakes are killed out of fear rather than necessity. I have seen villagers chase away a boomslang that posed no immediate threat, a tragic waste of biodiversity born from misunderstanding. Conservation initiatives that combine habitat protection with outreach can reduce such lethal reprisals and foster coexistence between humans and these arboreal enigmas. When we consider the boomslang, we see a creature that commands respect through subtlety rather than aggression. A reminder that lethality need not be loud to be profound. Their evolutionary niche in the treetops has sculpted a venom that targets the very physiology of clotting, an elegant and terrifying solution to subduing prey. As I climb mentally back down from the canopy, I am left with an appreciation for the layered relationships between forest structure, predator-prey dynamics, human perception. To live alongside such a species requires patience, knowledge, and humility, qualities we would all do well to cultivate. In the humid understory of Central and South American forests, the fer de lance, known broadly as bothrops, waits as dusk stitches shadow to shadow. This snake epitomizes the ambush predator. Cryptic coloration, a triangular head poised above leaf litter, a temperament that blends sudden strike with retention of prey. Its venom is complex, causing local tissue destruction, systemic bleeding, and sometimes renal failure. If untreated, it is responsible for a significant proportion of envenomations in its range. Farmers and field workers in rural areas are frequently the victims, their daily tasks bringing them into the snake's domain. I have walked paths lined with rattling leaves and felt the uncanny proximity of danger. Rapid access to antivenom and proper wound care determine the outcome of most bites. Bothrops species are diverse. Some favor lowland rainforests, others occupy savanna mosaics, yet they share a common strategy: patient stillness broken by explosive action. Their fangs deliver cytotoxins and coagulants that liquefy tissues and disrupt hemostasis, ensuring prey is subdued while preserving nutritive value. The aftermath for larger animals or humans can be dramatic. Swelling, necrosis, and systemic shock without timely intervention. Community-based first aid protocols, timely transportation to medical facilities, and anti-venom availability reduce mortality dramatically. I have interviewed medics in remote clinics who narrate stories of harrowing rescues, improvised evacuations, and the relief when vials of anti-venom arrive. Prevention, boots, gloves, and vigilance while working remains the simplest, most effective strategy. Culturally, the fer-de-lance occupies a fraught place in rural folklore, a creature both feared and respected, a symbol of the wild's unpredictable generosity and cruelty. Farmers learn the signs: the slide of disturbed leaf, the two faint puncture wounds, and often recount near misses with rueful humor. Conservation efforts intersect awkwardly here. On the crowded margins of human settlement across South Asia moves Russell's viper, a snake as familiar to rural life as the seasons themselves. It frequents fields, footpaths, thatched roofs. It is thus in constant contact with people. Its venom causes coagulopathy, severe bleeding, and organ failure. It is one of the principal causes of snakebite mortality in the region. I have visited clinics where emergency arrivals punctuate the day: farmers, children, laborers. Timely administration of antivenom and supportive therapies save lives, but gaps in access and delayed presentation translate into tragic losses. Russell's viper is a master of camouflage, its patterned scales blending into parched fields and dusty tracks. It hunts at night and in the early morning. This temporal overlap raises encounter risk. Bites often hit the lower limbs and are sometimes mistaken for insect stings. Complications include acute kidney injury, severe bleeding, needing hospital care, and sometimes dialysis. Education campaigns, anti-venom distribution to district hospitals. Compact and irritable, the saw-scaled viper may not command awe by size, but it does by consequence, responsible for a disproportionate number of deaths across parts of Africa and Asia. Its common habitat includes arid scrub agricultural edges, human settlements where it finds both prey and shelter. The species is often quick to defend itself. Its characteristic rasping threat display precedes an attack that can be swift and merciless. Venom varies between species groups: coagulopathy, local swelling, systemic distress. In regions where healthcare is sparse and the snake is abundant, mortality rates climb steeply. It is a reminder that danger is not always grand. Sometimes it is small, numerous, and in the wrong place. Their name derives from the sound made by rubbing coils together, a rasp that resonates across sandy ground. This behavior is as much a defense as an evolutionary signal. They would prefer to avoid conflict but will not hesitate when cornered. The viper's propensity to inhabit places close to people, homes, fields, marketplaces, especially at night when it hunts for rodents drawn to grain stores. Human practices such as open storage of produce sleeping on floors in summer amplify risk. Interventions that seem simple, securing food, elevating sleeping areas, educating on nighttime precautions, have profound effects in reducing bites. Medical management requires antivenom tailored to local species and supportive care to manage bleeding, tissue injury. Where antivenom stocks are limited, clinicians often face grim decisions, and communities bear the brunt of loss. I have met families who have lost breadwinners to such bites, their grief mingled with frustration at systemic neglect. Conservationists and public health officials must work in tandem, balancing the ecological role of these vipers in controlling rodent populations with human safety initiatives that minimize deadly interactions. The solution is not eradication, but coexistence through smart design and accessible healthcare. In the saw-scaled viper, we see a species whose impact is amplified by human circumstance, reminding us that lethality emerges when biology meets vulnerability.